Hi Stampers, Rose Gruenwald here from Country Cards by Rose. I'm coming at you from my craft room here in New Holstein, Wisconsin. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am back. I was on vacation for a while, and so hello everybody. I wanted to come back with a card tutorial video for you right away. The card that we're making today is this gorgeous card. I'm giving you a sneak peek of new products from the new catalog. This is a very simple card that uses a really unique watercolor background technique that I'm going to show you shortly here. As you can see, we're using one of the new in colors, this very rich, fresh fig. Super gorgeous, one of my favorites. And the thing that I love most about the new in colors coming out is it gives me a totally new take on current colors. So I've paired this one with Pear Pizzazz, and I think the two are just beautiful together. So let's get started right away on our card. I have two layers that I'm using today on top of my card base. I've got some watercolor paper here that I've cut at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And this piece is fresh fig. We've got 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. That is going onto a Pear Pizzazz card base, as you can see here. And we are using fresh fig ink and Pear Pizzazz ink. And we're using this gorgeous colorful season stamp set. Beautiful. It's got some amazing stamps in it. A lot of these are two-step stamps, and we're going to be using the two-step stamps with these leaves today. Now that stamp set pairs with the seasonal layers thin lit dies, and we're going to be using this really cool summer chair die cut from that. And let's get started right away. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my watercolor paper and I'm going to prepare the background for this card. So we're using the two-step stamps. As you can see here, I've got this solid image that I've mounted on my stamp, and the second step is going to be this detailed leaf stamp. You'll see that when I get to it. All right. I'm just gonna move this here. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is ink up our first step of the stamp. I get that nice and inked here. And we're going to take our watercolor spritzer and we're going to make a really neat watercolor effect by spritzing onto the stamp. So I just sprayed that once, and if you look close, you can see the ink pooling up on there. And then all I'm going to do is stamp onto my watercolor paper. And see how that pools up there? Really neat. So now I'm just going to clean this off onto my scrap here. We're going to do it again. I'm going to ink up that stamp. And then I'm going to spritz. This time I'm going to do it twice to really get the watercolor effect. And I want this to go a different way, so I'm going to turn my background. Clean off my stamp, and we'll go again. Oh, this one didn't get inked very good. All right. And then you spray your stamp and stamp. Spray your stamp and stamp. So the water, the ink kind of pools up on there for the first part of your two-step stamps. And in between here, I'm just cleaning off my stamp on a towel I've got to the side of me. This watercolor technique makes a very unique background. I love it for these spring and summertime leaves, which is neat because leaves aren't just for fall. So that's what I love about this set. All right. I'm gonna bring in one more here. I still have some water on there, so I'm not gonna worry about spraying it again. Okay, so the first step in my two-step stamp is complete. And I'm going to unmount the background stamp, the solid first step. And I'm going to bring in the detailed one with all the veins in the leaf. Make sure your black is good and dry. And I'm going to mount the second one. All right, so if this is not dry enough, what you can do is take your heat gun from your embossing powder and you can dry this a little better. Mine, I didn't get too wet. You can see some of these that I use, the two spritzes, are a little damper, but for the most part, they're okay. And I'm gonna come through with my detailed stamp, and I'm using Pear Pizzazz again, and I'm gonna just come in here and stamp. Now, for me, I kind of like it when I'm not perfectly over the top of my first step. I think it adds some unique dimension to my background. So I am not going perfectly over the first step. I have it a little bit off kilter. And if you like that look, that's something you can consider. And I've got one more to go here. We're good. I'll bring this up closer so you can take a look. So this one here, I kind of have perfectly on center, and these other ones I have off kilter. I think it gives it more of a whimsical look. All right, now, putting the card together is now just as easy as assembling my layers. On my card base, I wanted the layer to be a little bit off kilter. I'm going to grab my card base here. Okay. So I'm going to fold this. Get that ready. Okay, so I liked my layer kind of off kilter for the fresh fig, and then I liked my watercolor straight in front of it. And so that's how I'm going to adhere this. So I like to lay out my layers when I do this and glue top down, because that way I know how this is going to look when I'm done. I like the liquid glue for watercolor paper because it tends to curl a little bit after you've gotten it wet, and I find that the liquid glue really helps get all the pieces to adhere really well. Oh, and you know what? We totally forgot a step here. That's okay, I'll do it quick right now. The sentiment, I forgot to stamp the Just Breathe sentiment right on my card, so I'm gonna do that right now. We're gonna mount that. And of course, so that it coordinates, I'm gonna do that in my fresh fig. I love this color, oh my gosh. It's so rich, and I'm so ecstatic that I found it. How good it looks against Pear Pizzazz. All right. So we've got our sentiment stamped. We've got it adhered to our fresh fig layer, which is going to go onto our Pear Pizzazz card base. And next we need our ribbon. So I don't know if you remember watching my video on faux bows, but that's what we're going to do here today. So I'm going to make a faux bow, and what I'm going to do is cut my bottom layer long enough so that I can just flip it over and tape it. Scotch tape definitely comes in handy for me when I am card making. Okay, so we've secured the ends behind the card. Now I'm trying to line this up with the straight edge of the white because that's what will go straight on the card. Next I'm going to cut another piece to make my bow. So I would say this is maybe about 8 inches or so. We come in here and you slide your little piece under the base that you just adhered down. And then you gather it up and you tie a simple knot in it. Now you are going to see that the base is going to gather. The part you adhered to the card is going to gather together, but that is the look I'm going for with this. If you want, you can tie it a second time, or you can leave it loose. I really like the security of the second bow so that I know it's not going anywhere. I should say the second knot. Once you've got it tied, then you're going to want to trim the ends, and so I like to lay the ribbon over the base piece and come in with my scissors right where I want to make that cut. And so I'm going to do the same over here. Let's see here, I want this like this other end. There we go. And we have a very elegant bow. Isn't that gorgeous? See if you can see it here. Okay, now on top of that bow that we've made, I need to adhere my summertime chair. Now I played around a little bit with this. I used wild wasabi, or sorry, pear pizzazz and also fresh fig, and I found that the white looked best. So I've got some dimensionals here, and what I like to do is trim my dimensionals up the side so that I have some smaller pieces to work with. And this die is pretty intricate, so I want to make sure that I get some of those smaller pieces when I adhere it. And if any pieces are sticking out, feel free to go in and just adhere them. Sorry, cut them, trim them off. Like so. And I think I'm going to want one more. On the bottom. And then one up on the top. And you know, this has worked pretty good for me. I haven't had any issues with these not sticking or sliding off. So as long as it's working, let's keep doing it, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to get this chair in place. like so. Cute. All right, now I've got my card base and I want to pop this up off of there. So I'm going to use some dimensionals to do that. Pull these off. And then I want to line the edges of my card up with my card base, which makes the fresh fig a little off-kiltered, which is exactly the look I'm going for on this whimsical card. And we are done. That card is gorgeous. These colors together really pop. I love it. So I hope that you can use this watercolor technique with other two-step stamps. I know that you will love how it turns out. Thanks so much for checking out my video today. I am so glad to be back and showing you more ideas. I would love it if you would check out the other ideas on my blog. You can find me at countrycardsbyrose.blogspot.com. I also have a Facebook page where I share all sorts of fun and inspiring ideas. You can find me on Facebook at Country Cards by Rose. And if you buy from me, you will become part of my VIP club where I post exclusive card tutorials and other ideas and projects. Thanks so much again for stopping by. I hope you have a great day.